The king queen suited, we can free bet, we can call. This time we opted for a free bet. This hand I was considering raising, but I don't think the blinds were tight enough for open raise of such a weak hand, 6-5. This guy seems pretty tight, but not tight enough to open 7 deuce. Queen 6 suited is a little looser open from the cutoff, but it's fine. This guy is playing only 70% VPAP, so we're gonna open any two from the small blind. On this board, we should range check. So on this board, we can range check and check raise, check call, check fold, depends on our hand. But here with top pair, we can easily just check all free streets. And here we are going for value, we are going for big sizing. So he can call us with a 7 or with some pair. Here we are opening any two because big blind is folding a lot to steal. So every time a player has a VPAP of under 20, his fold to steal should be around 70% or even more. So in these situations, we can pretty much open any two and have auto profit in this spot. Also, if we think somebody's folding a lot, we can just open to smaller sizing, because if he's continuing with a strong range anyway. But he will not attack a lot our smaller sizing opens, like 2x from the button, and sometimes from the cutoff also. No action with aces, unfortunately. So many stuff I'm doing here, not GTO at all, but people will not adapt, especially they don't have stats on us on a GG, so they cannot adapt so easily. On this board, we are going for a range bet with our whole range. Here I'm a little deeper on both tables. If you're not comfortable playing deep stacked, you can just go out the table and sit again with the 100 big blinds. But if you're comfortable playing deep stacked, many other players will make a lot of mistakes, calling too lightly in some spots. People who are regs, who are studying game, they usually study 100 big blinds game. Here we are always free betting. We're gonna flat only if there is a fish in the blind. and in fast fall games there is rarely fish in the blind, so we have to free bet a lot. This guy seems very tight, so this time we're gonna fold, but this hand is also fine for calling of a smaller 4-bet, like in this situation. If I think the guy is little looser. So standard reg 4-bet from cutoff should be around 20%. If that is the case, we can profitably call with ace-9 suited. And here we range check this board. Now we are going for 2 streets of value. And this is not a great card, but he can rarely have a king. We can go for a small block bet or for a check. This guy free betting 12%. He looks pretty good. But with our suited connectors in position against smaller sizing, we can call. Here we are calling with all our backdoors since he used the smaller sizing of the flop. Now we can easily fold out his ace-king, ace-queen if he checks, but he's not checking, but we caught our backdoor. So now we can try to turn our hand into bluff if he checks. But when he shoves, we have to fold, unfortunately. We're only beating higher flash draw like king, queen of diamonds. Or maybe ace, queen, ace, jack of diamonds. Actually, we're not beating ace, jack because there's a jack on the board. So yeah, we have to fold. It's fine also to fold to a free bet 4-5 suited into position if you think the guy is free betting a very narrow range. Here we are free betting 100% of time with ace jack in position. We have a fish in the blind, so we can flat here or we can free bet. But if the fish shoves, it's a pretty bad situation. This is not GTO approved free bet. GTO approach would be free betting maybe 9-10 plus, 9-10 suited plus. But I think I have a edge big enough so I can call here, and it's great, of course, to turn a 2-pair here. So here we are shoving, or we are going for 1/3 of the pot bet, so he can call us with the weaker pairs like 10s or 9s, sometimes even with the ace-king or ace-queen. So if you think you have an edge on the player pool, we can play a little looser, add a few more hands. If you think your opponents are very tough, then you can start playing a little tighter. With our sixes, we don't need to bluff here. We can sometimes have a showdown, not very often. Some will probably have a queen or a 10, so this guy looks very fishy. He'll probably have a queen or a 10, but with these pot odds we have to call. We need to be good only one in like 5 times. And we probably are, only because he's very fishy. But yeah, this time he has a queen. Ace-5 is a standard open from cutoff. And let's see if we can get maybe some action with our aces. We are squeezing from the small blind, of course. This guy is very nitty. So ace-5 can be even a fold here sometimes, but in position I think the call is fine. This guy looks pretty bad, so we are shoving here, hoping to get some value from a queen or some weaker pairs. And it was very unlucky that he hit a set, but nothing we can do about it. I'm on this board betting my whole range, but when he checks back I wanted to give up, but on this river I just had to try to bluff him if he doesn't have a spade, and somehow he has 2 kings. Okay. On this board we are checking our whole range, especially in the multi-way pot. Against the min open, we are defending much wider than we are defending against 2.2 or 2.5. Against the min open, we are defending around maybe 70 or 80% of our range. So pretty much folding only the weakest hands. We have a flat here from some very weak reg on the bottom. He's playing only 16% of hands, so his range here should be pocket pairs and suited connectors, but when we are squeezed, we have to fold. So this guy is bluffing in some situations that the note I had, but he's still playing very tightly pre-flop, so that's the reason I opened a little wider from the small blind. On this board, against the smaller sizing, we can check raise or we can check call. Against the bigger sizing, we are obviously folding. So this is considered the smaller sizing, so we can check raise and continue on the 3, on 4, on ace, or on a diamond. But on this card, we are just giving up. If he checks back, we can bluff the river. And this situation, we are probably good on the river. So we are going for a smaller value bet, hoping to get the call from jack or from some middle pairs. And he has a jack, so pretty good. This guy looks very tight, and he's going for a bigger free bet from the button, from the big blind. So we are folding, but against the smaller sizing, we're gonna call here. Fours are a little looser open. So from the middle position, it should be 5 plus, but I think it's fine. We're not getting punished enough for opening a little wider. Against the smaller sizing, we are always free betting here with our ace 10. And with tens, we are always squeezing, we're never cold calling here. And with our top two pairs against two weaker players, we are going for a big value bet straight away. But with our tens, we cannot see bet against two players, so we have to give up here. Here our hand is locked out down, so we are going for a smaller sizing. And he somehow called us with the queens. He didn't 4-bet pre-flop. I'm gonna take a note about that. That he's only calling pre-flop with the queens. Here I'm opting for a smaller free bet sizing because he's short. If he had full stack, I would go for a 8 big blinds free bet. With ace 10, it's too weak to call, it's too weak to 4-bet. We can sometimes 4-bet with the ace jack or ace queen. But with the ace 10, in this situation, it's too weak to 4-bet. This guy seems like a weak player. We are going for a bigger sizing so we can stack him if we hit our hand with a turn. And on such a small re-raise, we can shove or we can call. They're both fine. Let's try to shove in this situation. Maybe we can get a fold from some 9. He's never folding queen, but somehow he called us with his gut shot and overcard. Very weak play from his side. I gave him this special red tag for crazy aggressive moves. And I'm making a note for a future reference. This is very big sizing, but we are both very deep, over 200 big blinds deep, so we are calling to hit our deuce. But on this terrible board, we are just giving up. I'm using a little bigger sizer here because me and the cutoff, we are both a little deeper. Every time we are a little deeper, I will use a slightly bigger sizing, so you can more easily put stacks in. King 10 is standard defend here. We have to call with our flush draw, but we are not very enthusiastic about this hand. If he checks back, we can try to bluff the river. Unfortunately, no action with our kings. And when he bets again, we have to give up. He can easily be drawing to a bigger flush than our flush. Guy with the red tag, so he probably did some very aggressive move previously. Yes, so he was over betting without any equity. So we are going for a smaller sizing here. Hope to get a call from his pairs, maybe even some backdoor draws. Here we have to go for a little bigger sizing, around 70-80%. And we are never folding against this guy especially. So yeah, red tag guy doing some crazy stuff. On ace high board, we are range betting, everything for 1/3. Player pool seems to be overfolding on a ace high board, so we're gonna use that and bet our whole range on ace high and king high boards. With king 7, it's a pretty standard defend. This board against a smaller sizing, we can call, we can raise. I think call is fine. If he checks, we can try to bluff him on the turn. But when he bets, it's a clear fold. So I played against this guy a lot. I have a lot of notes on him. He seems to be very passive and very tight. This is a really big sizing, but in a multi-way pot, we can profitably call here. It's the same guy we stacked a few hands before, so maybe he's a little tilted. Maybe we can stack him again if the board favors us. But on this board, we can just check back. No reason to bluff here. This is some super small sizing, a really weird situation, but we're gonna fold because we are almost committed here if we call. I mean, not almost, we are committed here because he will have only 12 big blinds left. Okay, this is some funky stuff. I really want to see their hands. So this guy is shoving against open with the ace 8, and the other guy is cold calling with king queen with the player behind him. So these two players are very, very bad. It's pretty good to be in the game against them. I'm making notes for future use. we're gonna wrap up the session after this hand. I hope it was interesting for you. Maybe you learned something new. We found some interesting spots, and I hope to see you in the next video, guys. Bye bye.